Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lounge. We're going to give a second for some of you all to jump in here. So, we're going to give y'all a minute and see who jumps in the room first.
We need to start giving prize to the first person that come on in the room. We do.
Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can.
But then that can get weird because of people bandwidth and stuff.
I was first.
Nobody told you to get the general internet.
People bandwidth stuff.
Nobody tell you to get what?
The general.
Good shit.
I'm just saying, you got the general insurance, general internet service. You know what? I think these glasses make my eyes look small. I think that's what it is. Because I do look like
you look like Loud Guy.
Hey, Lynette, we miss you, girl.
What's up, Lynette?
You look like Loud Guy.
Like I'm partaking of the vine, of the herb. You know, they say it's found on Simon
herb bearing seed.
Right.
I mean, he gave it to us, but no, it's these glasses.
He really did, though. Hey, Talia.
He did. Hey, what's up, Talia? Hey, Tambra. But you know, they said that's why a lot of Rastafarians, that's why they smoke it. They smoke it because it was found on Solomon's grave. And that's why he was so wise. You know, they don't smoke it to get high. They smoke it for enlightenment.
You see my face.
I'm telling I have some friends that are Rastafari.
Oh,
what's up, Adrian Mooney?
Hey,
Adrian. All right, guys, let's get this cracking. Well, if you all, hey, Danny, if you watched our episode, this is what we're going to start doing. We're not going to admit you in this room. You have not listened to the episode. Hey, Sophia, we are not going to admit you in the room. We're going to start making y'all be admitted. Hey, Z. So, anyway, tonight we're going to be doing a continuation of season 1, episode 3, where we talked about having hard conversations. And we talked about having those hard conversations. I think what we kind of talked about was more so friendship. Don't y'all think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it more along the line of friendship?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was more along the line of friendship. Did we talk about having hard conversations in any other context besides friendship?
No.
I don't think we talked about family.
No, we didn't talk about family.
Okay.
And we didn't talk about work.
And we didn't talk about marriage.
So
we could really take a stab at that. Queasy, you could really jump in on the marriage part. You know, let's kind of just talk about family. Because
before we dig in, everybody like, share, go ahead and click the like and go ahead and share the live. Everybody just take a minute. Just stop what you're doing. Take a minute, share the live. Sorry.
Take your little finger.
Now back to our regular schedule program.
What I say after this commercial break. Listen. One thing that I've noticed even in my own family, and thank you, Miss Karen. One thing that I've noticed in my own family is, and I think this is a thing with a lot of families, we will have barbecues on top of mess. We will have dinner on top of mess. We will open Christmas presents on top of mess. We will eat macaroni and cheese and fried chicken, and on top of mess.
When I say you that came straight out the gate,
we will. And I have learned, because one thing that I did, when God allows you to have your own family, then you can choose how you build that family. You get to choose the culture of your family. And of course, when I had Chris, I was so young, I didn't really even know who I was. But once I got past really like the initial struggle years, and I really took hold of the importance of allowing your child to have a voice. Because I used to say stuff like, if I want your opinion, I'll give you an opinion, and then you tell me what I just gave you, because that's your opinion. I used to say stuff like that to my child, and that's because that's that mentality in which we were raised in. Now, believe that we need to throw away a lot of the things of old, because I think that's what's wrong with a lot of parents now. You know what I'm saying? What we realize, what we do wrong is we try to give our kids more than what we had, not realizing a lot of things that we went through built our character. It helped us be able to withstand stuff. It helped us be able to take stuff. It helped us to be able to go through stuff. Our kids are spoiled. They don't have no kind of momentum. They can't take anything, and that's because we missed the things that taught us lessons. But however, like even in my family, we will have dinner with a huge elephant in the room. It's something going on. Nobody will say nothing. We keep getting together. We act like nothing happened. And it's almost like the closeness that we could have, or what the family could really do or accomplish or be, it's never that for some families, because we're afraid of conversations.
But we also, I'll say this too. I feel like it's also part of our culture to do as I say. Don't
Oh,
backtalk me.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Why ain't up for discussion. What did I say? Do. And so really, when you don't, it is important for, like, I didn't find my voice until I take that back. I got in trouble a lot for speaking my mind. So I say, but my mother told me this years ago, that she allowed me to, verbally, I got away with a lot more than Jesse and Jeff did, because my mother told me years ago that she saw something in me that told her, if you don't let her, if you don't let her stand up to you, she ain't gonna stand up to nobody on the outside. And so because I would say stuff, I would say more to my mom, because she actually saw me going down the path of a follower and not a leader. And so she told me, she said, if she'll stand up to me, if I let her stand up to me, she won't have no problem with standing up to nobody on the outside. And so I got away with a lot more verbal stuff than my brother and my sister did. But it is important that you allow children to have a voice. And it's also important that we allow each other, even as adults, to have a voice in families, and that everybody's opinion, everybody that is involved or included in the discussion should have a say in it. Now it may not go your way in the end.
True.
But your voice still need to be heard. Everybody need to be heard. And because our culture limits that, and it's just to do as I say do, we've grown accustomed to just, go off, live, just live.
Yep.
You go ahead.
I think when I look at my family, and I don't mean, Lynn and all of them, like I actually have a family. I know, right? A couple of years ago, like a text was sent to a whole bunch of family members. Like, let me say this, like, I have a slew of cousins who grew up together, and then I would just come around periodically. So I was always the outcast. Now, they didn't make me feel like an outcast, but because they would click tight, and then I would come over, you could tell, like, okay, she just come over, but we, you know what I'm saying? So they grew up together. And so they have a bond, undeniable bond. And hey, I get it. But a couple of years ago, like a text was sent out by one of my cousins. And it was sent out, it was about me, and it was sent out up to like everybody. Okay. And only one cousin was just like, hey man, this text came out and this was said about you, blah, 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 blah. And no one defended me. Not one person defended me. And so what was already a distance now became like this span of like, you know what I'm saying? And so it wasn't even a conversation to be had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it was love lost, but it was really no love lost.
Right.
But now some things that are happening, and I know when this thing happens, a conversation is gonna have to be had.
Do you really think one will be had?
Yeah, because, well, you know what? Because see, I can master operating in a room with a 6-ton elephant and be just as content.
Yeah, I can.
And be focused, you know, because I know that this I'm just here for a minute and I'm getting ready to go back. You know, but I believe that because the person that sent the text, they're gonna have to say something to me when this thing happens. They're gonna have to. I'm telling you, because they're gonna want some stuff.
Yeah.
And the only way you're gonna get this stuff is if you come through me. So you're gonna have to say something to me. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes conversations are warranted and sometimes they're not. But even though this happened years ago, like I think it's going to be brought back full circle.
But then when you don't address it and it festers.
But see, and then I guess I'm putting myself on my own couch. Like I don't even know if there's anything to fester.
Listen to me. Danny said something that kind of fits what you said. She said, I say folks just don't see themselves, and I'll be like beating a dead horse. And also it's generational issues that we have swept under the rug.
Right. That's a really good point. And I'll chime in on that part. Because it's generational, sometimes you need someone to help you facilitate, because some of them don't even know how to, because it has been looked down on for so long. I remember I had to think about this other day that my mom, when she had gotten the diagnosis of her illness, she would try to tell us the facts of her illness, but religiously we would be like, I rebuke that. We're not receiving that. I don't want to hear that. So I remember when she got overwhelmed and we weren't listening, she had us a group therapy session. Now this was back in 2000, maybe 12 or 13, back when the rhetoric was a little different about therapy and getting help and stuff like that. So I was like, what's she about to tell us? Like, I'm like, is she losing it? Is something wrong or whatever? But all she wanted was a space to be able to say, y'all, I'm not accepting this illness, but I want you all to know the facts of what I'm dealing with. But she knew that she was, like you said, beating a dead horse with us at home, because our religious mindset wouldn't allow us to hear her in that hard conversation. So she took us somewhere where someone who didn't have a dog in the fight could help facilitate us through, and we could hear her with different ears. And it was hard to hear. We did a lot of walking out, a lot of crying, a lot of acting out, but it was needed, because what we didn't understand is that for years she had so much bottled up hurt because we just wouldn't listen to her just try to give us the facts of what she was going through. So sometimes it's just so important to have your ears open and be open. And sometimes it's almost like having a pastor that literally is saying the same thing every Sunday, and then somebody come in and say the same thing, but because they somebody else, you hear it a different way. And that can be hard because your pastor been saying it. So I've had my parents be like, I told you that, or my husband say, I said that, but because it came from me and you was trying to prove me a point, you couldn't hear me. So a lot of times hard conversations are not successful because we're hearing from a place of winning versus actually trying to hear it. We already have in our mind, this is how I'm gonna receive this how I receive this person, this is how I feel about it. So I can't hear it any other way. And that's preventing breakthrough in a lot of areas, especially when it comes with families.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And then, this is what I was going to say too, even because Juna kind of tapped on that. When you're going to get ready to have a hard conversation, everybody has to come to the table, not to defend themselves.
Right.
But they need to come to the table wanting to sit in whatever truth comes out, and they need to come to the table wanting a solution above anything else.
Right.
When you come to the table wanting a solution above anything else, you're not focused on, because when they say something about me, because when they say something about me, just like if with my family right now was to have hard conversation, I can just about tell you some of the stuff that they're going to say about me. But it may be some things that they may say that I'm not aware of. But let me tell you something. I'm mature enough in my life to see whatever they say.
That's good.
And not defend myself. Because I'm not perfect. Nobody is.
Right.
I really wish we could have conversations, because some of the adult hurt we go through, some of the adult wounds that we're working through, they're adult wounds, but they really happened when we were children.
Yep.
And a lot of it comes from not having hard conversations. We sweep it under the rug. We don't talk as families. We let stuff go on in our houses. We got abusers in our family. We sweep that under the rug. The whole family protect the abuser. You know what I'm saying? Or you got children living in a 2-parent home, and you think, because they live in a 2-parent home, they okay. But it's an abusive 2-parent home, or they don't see love being modeled in their home. You really don't know what has went on. And then, one thing about families, and I've learned, and I'm talking about my family, my family members on here, whatever, fight me. But my thing is this: it is the adults, it is the toxicity of the adults that will make the next generational relationship struggle.
I agree.
All right. And so that's why I'm such a proponent for conversations. I haven't always been that way. Because I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to make nobody feel uncomfortable, or I didn't want to have to talk because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I didn't want nobody to be mad at me. But because I put in the work in my own life, I know the value of having those conversations. Even if we cry, even if we have a tough time, it's cleansing to have those kind of conversations. Because when you don't, you taint the next generation of relationship. Because children are often going to take on the offense of their parents. And when they take on the offense of their parents, listen to this: when they take on the offense of their parents, they're offended from one point of view.
Yep.
They're offended from one side of the story. And a lot of times we be, my mama, and your mama low down. She might not have been low down to you, but she been low down to some of her nieces and nephews.
I think it's
and that's the kind of stuff we don't want to talk about.
And what also hinders the process of having hard conversations in families is when we approach the conversations in our roles that we play within the family. Like if you the black sheep, you coming in that role. If you the one that can't do no wrong, you the golden child, you coming in that role. If you the messy, when they say you messy, you coming in, you coming, you coming in those roles. But the reality is that everybody need to drop all the defenses. Yeah. Because all of that is defense mechanism. Drop all the defenses and come completely open to hear and to listen, to understand and to not want to be right. I think Quisa was saying that you're trying to win. You're trying to win. And Lynn just said, because as soon as they come to me, guess what I'm saying? Yeah. That is never going to work. But it's also important in those conversations that we tell the truth. All right? Yeah. Stop that line. Stop that line. Stop that lying.
David said, I think we'll get more frustrated because they'll never admit to the wrong or the misunderstanding.
Sometimes that is true, but sometimes it's not about an admission.
Okay.
It's not always about an admission, because if that's what you're going in for, you
right,
no,
you're going in wrong.
Yeah. You're gonna
that'll
be disappointed.
So
you
what
going in to be free.
right.
You understand what I'm saying? You're going in to be free. Now, what you do with this information that I'm finna give you is up to you. But
Right.
when I leave here, I'm finna be 10 pounds lighter.
And what I'm telling you, what I need, this is what I need from you. Now, if you can't, like we were saying before, now we going into this conversation, but some decisions got to also be made during this conversation.
So true.
Because I'm going in to get free. But if it's something that I need from you that I am not getting, then I got to make a decision as to whether or not I'm gonna keep just fooling up. Okay.
That's the
Because
truth.
the reality is, by the time that you've had that hard conversation, they've shown you repeatedly. That's why it's a hard conversation.
That's why it's hard.
Because love covers a multitude. Because
There
you're
you
like,
go.
no, you
Yep.
know, and then till a point where it gets up here. And then that's when it becomes a hard conversation. And that's why it's so emotional, because you beating up on yourself. Like, I can't believe I allowed myself to stay in this relationship. I can't believe I allowed myself in this friendship. I can't believe I allowed my voice to be shut down, you know, my feelings to be negated. So by the time you get to that table, like, you a ball of emotions.
Right.
You
understand
stepping
what I'm
all
saying?
in it. So let me tell you, that was my greatest takeaway from the podcast when we sat down, was that I remember a situation where, just like you're saying, I had let it build up for so long from not being strong enough to speak up before. But here's what helped me make the decision whether this was a hard conversation necessary or was adjustment needed on my end.
Wow.
When I got ready, I thank God I didn't cut up while I was angry, because I had no direction. But the next day I started writing down what I wanted to say. And when I started writing my reasons, it was so petty. It was, I had no validity in what I was saying. Now, it doesn't negate the fact that I felt the way I felt, because I know what I'm feeling is right. But if I had listened to God before or watched the signs before, I would have made the necessary adjustments a long time ago and not had that expectation of you anymore. So then I won't be so disappointed when you don't even have, like y'all talked about before, the capacity to give me what I'm expecting. But that came, and when I made the adjustment, all of that resentment was like, it was released. But it was me being mature enough to say, sometimes I have to, no matter how nice I am, how much I want to forgive, I love you, but there needs to be a boundary there, because I see that you don't have the capacity to give me what I'm needing from you. And that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't make you horrible. But I need to make my own personal adjustment. And that's when things changed for me. Some of it had. Now, there are some hard conversations I had to have. When we talk about marriage, we talk about, I would say in my marriage, I've always been the fixer.
Okay.
So that means when I'm talking, when he talks, sometimes I want to fix it then. And that's not his method. So I've had to learn how to sometimes, when we open the space to talk, he'll hear me. He heard everything I said, but he needs a moment. And when he's able to decipher his thoughts, he comes back. You have to figure out what works for you and your spouse. Because if you're just screaming and just trying to win and get your point across, it's ineffective, because they can't hear, and you can't make their method your method. But let me tell you, this is my method. I want to get it out like that. This is burdening me. Like, I need to tell you what I'm feeling now. And thank God that we've grown to have a safe space, because we have spent times where I wanted to show I'm a strong woman. I ain't your child. You're not going to tell me. So I just couldn't shut up. And I just bickered. And it was ineffective. So I've had, and I'm still learning how to just sometimes, in that hard conversation, yes, we got to talk about this, but give him a moment and let him come, because that he's processing. He did not tell me I was wrong with what I said, but in my mind several times before, I thought he said that I was wrong because he was quiet. So I was like, oh, so you don't understand me? And blah, 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 blah. And so then I started trying to explain and over explain. No, I learned how to just put it out there. Don't scream. Keep your cool. Come back. And then when he's ready to speak, you got to hear too, because I'm a talker. And so when he talking, I'm like, well, sorry, no, it's my turn to talk. You got to listen now. So you have to learn what method works for you and your spouse in marriage. For me, when it comes to hard conversations.
And I was going to say that people who are fixers, it's very hard. You have to practice active listening.
Yes.
Because as they are talking, your mind is fixing the problem.
Yep.
And so you're missing a good portion of the conversation because in your mind, you're already trying to fix the problem.
Yep.
And some problems, and I know this is going to sound crazy, some problems aren't problems. They're just vent sessions. Sometimes I don't need you to fix it.
Yeah.
I just need to talk to you. I need to get it out of here so that I can go to sleep at night, so that my mind is not constantly racing. I don't need you to fix it. I just need to be able to vent, and piggybacking even off of that. There are some conversations you need to have in the heat of the moment because they need to feel your passion. They need, sometimes, depending upon the conversation and who it is, they need to be able to see the tears.
Yeah.
They need to feel the heat and the emotion behind what it is that you're saying. Because some people may just be aloof and be like, oh, I didn't even think it was that serious. But when you add passion, and the only time you are angry about something is because you're passionate about it.
That's true.
If you ain't care nothing about it, you'd be like, whatever. But because you're connected to it, because you love it, you're passionate about it, it drives this emotion. And sometimes, depending upon the conversation, they need to feel the passion behind what it is that you're saying.
One thing that Keelan said, and this was when we were talking about family, but it will reference any situation. He said we need to have words that season with grace also. I think how we come into the conversation, whatever kind of conversation it is, whether it's a conversation I need to have with my family, whether it's a conversation I need to have with my spouse, my mate, my partner, whether it's a conversation I need to have with my kids, you need to have the right heart entering the conversation.
That's good.
Especially when you know the conversation is going to be hard. I'm not coming in the conversation like, let me know. This is when you know, to me, that your heart is right. Like there are times, even as a leader, you know what I'm saying, that I've had to have really, really hard conversations. And all day I would grieve having the conversation.
Wow.
And I learned that me grieving, having it, really showed the posture of my heart. That I was not coming to the conversation to get nobody together and straighten them out because somebody should have been told them. No, I love the person. And I was grieving because the biggest thing, I did not want them to walk away damaged or hurt. But I've learned something even in that. Sometimes you can season your words with all the grace you got. Sometimes you can be as nice as you can be. When a person is not ready to hear something about themselves, they're always going to take correction as rejection. Sometimes you can grace it with all the love. You could do the sandwich method. You could tell them how great they are. You could put the hard stuff in the middle, come back and tell them. You can do it however. Sometimes when I have hard conversations, when I know that the person may not receive what I'm about to say, I make sure I keep my voice even keel when I'm talking, because I want them to hear the love in my voice. But I've learned something with some people, when they're not ready to hear it, it doesn't matter how you dress it up.
Yeah.
They don't have the capacity to receive what you're trying to say. And you just have to say it. Especially if it's something that needs to be said. You have to say it and also be ready to deal with whatever happens afterwards, the possible fallout. And so a lot of times we don't want to have conversations because of the possible fallout.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you need to let the possible fallout happen.
That's true. That's true.
I'll say this for me, it being in leadership in the workplace, I'll say the what has made having hard conversations a little bit easier for me is that I'm going in with the intent of coming up with a plan to correct the behavior and get the buy-in from the individual, right? This is a problem, yes, but let's talk about how we can fix it, right? Let's talk about how we can correct it. Yes, this is a problem. We're not minimizing the issue. We're not minimizing the offense. We're not we're discussing it, and we're clarifying the severity of it. It is a big deal. Yes, it is. But guess what? There is hope. We can fix it. Okay. And so, but I need you to tell me what you're going to do to make sure this right here don't happen again. You understand what I'm saying? Like I see, it's your behavior. This is the impact of it. Okay, so now what can we do? How can I support you?
That's it. How can I support you?
How can I support you in modifying this and making these modifications? Tell me what you're thinking. You know what I mean? Because the reality is that especially when it's a conversation dealing with that requires corrective action, right? When there's a conversation that requires corrective action, there has to be, it can't be us ending with just, okay, we had it. You heard, okay. No, it can't end that way, because guess what's gonna happen? That same behavior gonna reoccur. It's gonna happen again, because there is no plan to move forward. You just talked about what happened,
right?
So how we gonna move forward?
Right.
But I'm telling you, I've sat with families, and I'm telling you, like, you can give them a plan of action to come to healing. But I have sat with families, y'all, that the level of toxicity is so high in each individual family member.
Right.
That is so toxic that they can't see themselves. I'm talking about, I've been sitting with 10 members, and all 10 of them so doggone toxic. They can't even see it. All they can see is what's in somebody else. And I'm like, healing can't even begin until you can tell me how I can support you.
And see, my question would be, so why we here? Like, what we doing? Why we even having a conversation? If everybody go, that's them roles I'm talking about. Black sheep, golden child, always right.
But you know what I noticed about families? Families have ranks.
Yeah.
Especially when you got, say you got 5 aunts, 2 uncles. You got 7 kids. I'm telling you, we rank family. We rank in families. This one, when some with them, it's of more importance than these down here. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that happens with who grandparents favor. Okay, y'all want to talk about that part. Well, what you was going to say, Pauletta?
I was going to say, and I guess this is to you and Queese. Can you just talk about the danger of the shutting down game in a marriage? Like, because sometimes I think people, or not even, well, shutting down and checking out. Because I think sometimes in a marriage,
quitting.
You said what?
Quiet quitting.
Right. You know, that you just, instead of having a hard conversation, you just shut down.
Yeah.
And what I always tell couples, especially the couples that, you know, that I'm counseling, I'm like, the minute you shut down, next week you become roommates.
that day.
Woo. It's true.
It can happen.
And that's why I tell couples, and they be looking at me so crazy. I'm like, even when you mad, have sex, because sex is. Juna, you single? Hello, hello, Juna.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay,
Juna. Because what I was saying is, I mean, that's never gonna be my problem. But I'm gonna have when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm depressed, but when I'm high, when I'm low, when I'm in the valley, on the mountain. But
most women struggle with that because
right, and I know, but
okay,
so that was what I was saying. So when you have sex in a relationship is multidimensional. Like, so you're connecting on a physical, a spiritual, and an emotional and mental level. When you take that out of the relationship, we just homeboy and homegirl.
That's true.
And so it makes it harder to come back from a shutdown, because I've begun to see you as just like a roommate, somebody I'm splitting the bills with and just happen to be raising some kids with. That's why it's so important not to shut down and have the hard conversations. But from a married perspective, Lynn and Queese.
Let me say this. I got 2 marriage references, but that's what's wrong. The multiple last names. Oh, but he with me. But anyway, but let me tell you something, and I need every person to hear this. When somebody values you, they gonna put the work in.
Yep.
And if you ever get with somebody that value you, and you know that they value you, and you've ever experienced being valued, you ain't gonna put up with being devalued anymore. Some of y'all, you sit and you just beg a person. Listen, if a man wants you, he gonna show up in the relationship. If a woman wants you, she's gonna show up in the relationship. And a lot of times, Nakeelan said, you can't argue naked. That'll preach. But anyway, when I said they'll shut the whole argument down. But anyway,
ain't nothing like mad sex. Get over here.
Come here. But anyway,
ugly.
But anyway,
you single, Pauletta.
When a person is invested in you, y'all please hear me this. Don't let nobody gaslight you with that foolishness.
Right.
When somebody shut down, when somebody don't, a lot of times this is what I learned about people. They don't have the courage to tell you they don't want it anymore. So they do everything to make you leave or to make you leave. And you so I don't want to say crazy, but you so wanting it to be what it's not, that you just like, I don't know. Listen, I know what I'm talking about. Right. When somebody wants you, when they want to be with you, when they value you, they will do the work. They will do the work. I know what I'm talking about. They will do the work. They will show up in the relationship. Okay? Now, yes. I'm going to leave that right there, but you go on, Queese.
I will say, just from my experience, who's speaking life into you matters, because it challenges your growth. If you are in it that long and you've been in a marriage for a while and that shutdown game still wins often, then sometimes you might want to check your influence. I was telling somebody the other day that because I've been challenged different, it has changed how we communicate. So I do say that it matters who is influencing, who's around, and who's speaking life, because I've always been this. Me and Robert are kind of loners. We just good with just us, you know. And so we ain't trying to find a bunch of couples ministries. We ain't trying to go out on no double date thing. Like, we really enjoy each other's company enough.
Friendship.
Yes.
With yes. true foundation of any great relationship. That's
Yes.
something else I'm learning. Cultivate friendship. We don't stick long enough to just cultivate friendship. We got to
So
jump in
true.
bed,
You're
So
hot.
true.
you
So
know?
that, but what I realized is that God gave us some good seasoned married mentors who challenged me sometimes to say, you wrong. And that helped me because all of my life, not just being married to Robert, but before him, I have lived a life surrounded by, I don't want to disappoint anybody, so I always got to be right. If I fail, I'm disappointing you. And so again, there comes the fixer again in me. It's like, let me mend all of it. But I will say, don't let that, when it say, now, have I worn that belt every time? I done went to bed back mad. Yes, I have. But because, like Lynn said, we are friends, before we know it, we laughing about something. So like you said, the foundation does matter because it's only so long I'm going to go in this house without, and then I'm attracted to him too. So even when I'm mad at you,
Talk about that.
even
Talk
when I'm
about
mad
that.
at you,
'Cause
it's
that's
the way he can
important.
put his eyebrow up. It's the way he walked through here. It's the way he looked like Black
He
Jesus.
smells.
You hear me? I'd be grateful for all them locks in his head. Every bit of that beard. And I'd be like, you know
Okay,
what?
Samson.
You look good when you said that. Come here. You know what I'm saying? So that changes.
Come here, bring.
That changes my posture. So that's why, like I've talked about how I didn't really have a list when we first got married. But when you have a relationship with God, that's a whole nother story. I knew what I was bringing. And God has it been perfect? No, because I ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's another thing in having hard conversations. You gotta be able, like Lynn talked about earlier, to accept when they come to you with that hard conversation. Mm-hmm. And that was hard because I can give you mine. But when you coming to me about me and making me see me, that's not as easy. And really, because he's my partner, he's revealed more to me about me than anybody else has.
Because he spends a lot of time with you.
Because he spends a lot of time with me. He showed me that I was selfish and I couldn't see that.
Did you know that you were selfish?
No. How? Because I'm a giver. I didn't think I was selfish, but I was giving in areas that were comfortable for me.
Oh, that's good, Quincy.
So what areas were you selfish in? Oh my God,
which means it wasn't really a sacrifice.
Right.
So what areas were you selfish in, Queese?
RJ is probably one of the most unselfish areas that I am, because I will drop everything for him. But other than that, even when it came to
give her when it came to church, selfish when it came to personal.
When it came, you say a church when it comes
with church stuff. Time, talent, and treasure. Give her that.
Yeah.
Personal.
Exactly. Oh, and I feel that very much so, because when Lynn talk about winning at church and losing at home, I was in that position. I had never heard anybody talk like that. I never heard it, because I'm like, you're not going to come between what I got with God. That was one of my prerequisites before I got with you. But what I didn't realize is a lot of the misunderstanding was with me, because I was the bitter one. I couldn't receive. I couldn't hear. So I had to hear somebody say, you wrong. Like the Holy Spirit, while you telling me to handle him, let me get you.
Let me show you a mirror.
Let me show you. And it was hard to see that. But I'm telling you, it helped so much, because Robert has balanced me. And that's another thing about marriage. He has balanced me. I was this self-righteous, loving person. And he helped me. I remember one.
Okay, stop. What do you mean when you say self-righteous? So that the people help
them understand.
How were you self-righteous?
I thought that I had it together, and everybody else was sinning, or everybody else was wrong. And Lord, please don't let them fall. I don't want them to go to hell. But I didn't realize how disconnected and how much that same grace I talk about all the time, that I needed it because my thoughts were just as impure as their actions, right? So I had somebody come and tell me years later, I saw you sing somewhere, and this was way before that has changed, thank you, Jesus. But they said, I saw you sing somewhere and I tried to come talk to you and you were arrogant. And I was like, me? Me arrogant? Not me. But there was a time when I didn't have a root in purpose and didn't know who I was in God, and I was just running, doing stuff without purpose, that I probably was operating in arrogance because I was operating in self. So that was hard to receive, and that there was no fruit coming from what I was doing. I was just, like you said, busy. I was emceeing everybody's concert. I was everywhere. And then I had to realize, and this was a hard one, no to a lot of religious stuff has helped me in my marriage because I had to learn priorities.
Because home is your first mission.
Home, I just let an engagement go because I remember that the weekend that I had it, that's my man's birthday weekend. And I've made a vow that when it comes to them, that comes first. But I remember a time I wasn't mature enough to do that because my religious mind said, but if they calling me, they need me, right? And I need to be there. But I was neglecting here. But I'm so glad that I got around people that challenged that mindset and opened me up to change that. And when I say God has blessed me more for having the priority of putting him first, and I was gonna say I fight. I fight. I'm not gonna say I fight. It's God, family, then the rest of it. And I didn't know that. I was just like, ain't nothing gonna separate. No, nothing gonna separate me from the love of God. No.
But your spouse is the gift that God gives you to display your love for him through.
There you go. You said it perfectly.
Queasy, you said something about being careful about who in your ear. As married women, I say this: if your single friend ain't telling you the real about how cold it is out here by yourself, even in the summertime, and to figure out what's going on. Look, it's cold out here. Married women, figure it out, work it out, figure it out. If they ain't beating the hell out you, I mean, excuse me. If they ain't beating, if they not abusive,
you can't fix it, baby. You can't fix it, baby.
If they ain't abusive, if they not neglecting you, if they not cheating or whatever, look, work it out. It's cold out here. It's cold out here, even in the summertime. 110 degrees outside. Heat index 120. Let me tell you something. It is cold out here in these single streets. Work it out here. Get in there, had a hard conversation. Had to talk to that man. Okay.
I'm telling you,
okay.
I often have to fight myself. You're so right, Juna. Out of that place with God of not being angry that I'm in this place again. Like I'm telling you, there are days when I will be in tears still because I'm like, I don't want to get to know nobody. I don't want to get to know nobody, mama. I don't want to get to know nobody, kids. I don't want to get to know anybody. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go through none of that. And I'm just like, why? Why do you have me in this place? Like, I often, every now and then, that feeling comes back up, and especially out here, like I don't even have the desire for real. You know what I'm saying? Like I put my feet in and I'm like, because it's too much work.
It's a lot.
It's just even getting myself to even want to work or to put in any effort in anything. I'm telling you, that's my struggle because I'm just like, I don't want to meet your little kids. I don't want to meet your mama. I don't want to. So I have to, I'm like, God, you've got to, y'all laughing. I am so serious. I'm like, God, you got to help me because I seen this relationship as me growing old and this was it.
Right. Like nothing
You
else is coming
understand?
after
And
this.
the hardest part about loss is coming to grips with what you thought was will never be.
Will
Never be. Woo.
And that's what people don't understand is you have to, just as much as a person died, every dream, every future thing you had
Die
with
with
it, it has to die too. And the person could be dead and gone, but the future that you thought you was gonna have,
You're still
takes a
holding on
minute
to
for
it.
it to die.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really understand that. And my biggest struggle is even having a desire to want to put in the work. And that's why I say now, like, I will know when the right person comes because the right person will make me want to.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm like, I'm gonna know. I'm gonna know because they're gonna make me. It's gonna be something about them that's gonna make me want to. You know what I'm saying? Do or this or that. You know, so that's the way I judge it. Nikhilin said something. He said, when I got married, I sat myself down and focused on my wife and asked her when should I start back in ministry outside of the house. Man, that's so powerful.
Wow.
Because you don't want your spouse to be over there like this when you're doing
Yep.
ministry.
Come on. Come on.
Because I'm telling you, when you go to churches and you look at and you sit under pastors, people be looking at their wives.
Yep.
How they
Especially when they be
respond.
preaching, like, let me see what she
Like, let me see what she doing.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Because
be on her phone
her
playing Bubble
faith
Witch.
and her support speaks a lot.
Yeah.
That's so good.
You know, because
So
I'm
true.
telling you, you can't win in the world and lose at home because you're still losing.
Still
Like you showing up and God counting you absent. Because first things first. Home is first. When you decide to get married, when you decide to begin a family, it's at that point that you also decide to split your time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know, so that's just the way it is. So
I don't know. And I wonder, like, I guess that's my thing. Like, I want to find someone who's actively in ministry. You know what I'm saying? Not so much a bishop or a priest or anything like that, but just someone
Rabbi.
Rabbi Hashim. But
Apostle.
you know, somebody that has a passion for God so that they can understand. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it'd be easier if he has a passion too. You know, if he up at the church painting 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, you know, and I'm sitting home. But I'm like, okay, because you know what? That lets me know that you vested into this, you know. But I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how we got on this single topic, but it is hard out in these streets, though. It is.
That's how we got on it. Because I look.
It's hard. Queasy,
Don't
stay
come
where
out
you are,
here.
baby.
Don't come out here.
It's mean out here.
I mean, I was just talking to somebody yesterday and I had this conversation and I told them, I said, if there's anything worth saving, fight for it. Whatever
Fight.
you got.
Yep.
Because you know what you got. My grandma used to say this, you know what you got, but you don't know what you're going to get.
Come on.
It's
And
the devil you know. Thank you, LaTanya. Tell Shatia I said what's up. It's the devil you know and the
Right.
one you don't.
Right. And you know, and I'm not saying stay into something that you're unhappy with or that you're being.
Me either. I ain't saying that either.
I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is if you have something worth fighting for, fight with everything.
Fight for it.
And if you have a fight.
Yeah, and you can't fight by yourself. Let me say
Right.
that too.
Right.
You can't be the only one fighting.
So true.
Both of you have
You're
to
gonna be so
fighting.
tired.
You know, you both have to be fighting, or there's really not a fight going on.
There you go.
You know, so it just is if
You
both
just
of you
moving.
are not fighting, there isn't a fight.
Yeah.
Crystal said, if you can help it, don't come out here.
She said, because it ain't right. It ain't right, Crystal. It ain't right.
Listen, don't come out here.
That's why I'm telling y'all, some days I'm like, God, really?
Don't come out here.
Like you for real? Like this how you do me?
Because I be like, anytime I think my friend, married friend, work it out, call me back. Work it out, It's all right. It's all right. Work it out. Call me
It
back.
ain't that big of a deal.
Baby, you fine, baby.
You all
Pay the
right.
electric bill. Just pay the bill,
Let
okay?
me tell you, this here ain't what you want, baby. This right here,
It ain't.
this done this Skid Row.
What? When I tell you we out here like,
Baby,
no,
this almost Skid Row I am.
I'm
No.
telling you. And I need you, and I know we way off the topic, but when I tell you, I'm so glad that God has removed all of my distractions. Because when I tell you, I would have went in the pool like this. I'm telling you, and would have been like, God, I'm sorry. But when I tell you, He has removed everything.
Wow.
So now I
You
just
have
sit
to
around
want
here
him
with
to,
my
though.
legs closed tight.
Yeah.
You have to want him to.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you have to desire what he wants for you over what you desire for yourself. We received that, Nikila, and he said, ladies, God is going to give you exceedingly abundantly all you ask or think. Like I said yesterday in service, and I'm going to end right
receive
here.
that
If
now,
anybody
kids.
have any
I
questions,
sure do. That my
if you
friend.
have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat and we'll be glad to answer. And we're going to wrap up. But one thing that I said yesterday in church, and Nikki grabbed it and a couple of the other ladies grabbed it, and they was like, this is my prayer. Like, I know you know what I need, but wrap what I need up in what I want. That's really my prayer. Wrap what I need.
What did what now? I know.
Wrap, Lord, I know you know what I need.
I
Wrap
know
what I need up
Up
in
in
what
what
I
I
want.
want. That's
know
powerful.
what I need.
Because what I want.
In what I want.
But rap.
Because don't give me nobody that's
What
knee
I
high,
need.
God. Please. But have everything I want. Please, to
Nikki
Jesus.
said
And
that
what I
lived
want.
my whole life. Yeah.
Please, to Jesus. Don't do that.
Because I feel like for my
And
faith,
don't be
Hey,
teaching
somebody
me
need
no
to hit you in the
lessons,
back of
'cause I
your
don't want
head.
to be like Hosea, marry that prostitute. I don't want to be like that.
right.
Go
Right.
bounce back, you.
Right. Go marry you a hoe. What?
I don't
No.
want to teach no lessons. None.
I done learned mine, Lord.
I done learned it. Who got anybody for real, y'all? Anybody got any questions?
Wrap him up. Z said, wrap him up, Lord. Wrap him up. I don't
And
even want
let
to
me
say what I
clarify.
want because I don't want nobody to
I
take
don't
that.
mean when we talk about being out here singing, and I know we all topic, but when we talk about being out here in these
We're
rough
really
streets,
not, though. We're
No.
really not.
we're not talking about it being in a bad way or being miserable. I'm good. But
Hold on.
But
but all right.
But all right. All right.
But-
All right. All right. All right.
it'll be
Ain't
nice.
nobody hard up around here.
Ain't that wrong
But
with
if you
being
got somebody, you might want to figure it out, work it out.
No, for real. He said
Don't
that
come over here.
Keelan also said that he is going to give you his answer. I really believe that.
Yeah.
I really believe that because I feel like I deserve it. I
Yep.
feel like I've been through a lot. I've withstood, and I believe that God gonna wrap him up like I want him to be wrapped.
And
Hallelujah.
what I need.
Karen,
and
hey,
what I
Miss
want.
Karen said, how do you come off the porch single for years to date again, being saved? It's hard dating saved.
Did what? How you do what?
How do you come off the porch single for years to date again, being saved? I think it to me, it's hard being saved. I mean, no, it's not hard being saved. It's hard dating and being saved.
Because adults
Because
don't
it's-
date well.
Yeah.
Especially
Because-
if we
because-
physically attracted to
especially
each
when you
other.
were Gomer. Like I was Gomer. I was Gomer.
Say it again, sir.
I was Gomer. Okay? Those of you who don't know who Gomer is, go ahead
Look
and
it
read
up.
Hosea. It's about
Go
3
read
or 4 chapters.
Hosea.
I was Gomer. And so to take me from what Gomer used to do and now clean her up, Gomer's still on the inside. And it's hard.
You're the dermis.
Because
And the
some of
epidermis.
the men I'm running into ain't Hoseas.
Right.
They not like, no. They're like,
Right. Yep. And a lot of times when you are the one who was in a relationship that's more spiritually advanced, then it falls on you to maintain, you know, a certain thing. But you know, I've just learned, I mean, just don't put yourself in those situations, because you can't never think that you're stronger than what you think you are, you know, because you ain't as strong as you think you are. So
I tell you, I'm feeble.
I wouldn't even play with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you can't.
You have to
can't.
date in public. Don't
Yeah,
date in
literally.
restaurants where, you know,
In
the
the
lights
daytime.
low and- you know what I'm saying? Don't
Hey,
do that.
man, lights.
Where it be like this in there. You don't want to date. It gotta be like this. You want this.
Spotlight.
This
All
is
right,
what-
guys. We love y'all. We love
do.
y'all so much. We thank y'all for jumping into.
Hey, we got 844 likes and followers.
Yay!
Can we please get
Okay,
to
if you have not
156?
If you have not shared this out, share it out. But if you did not listen to episode 3, I need you to promise me that you're going to make sure you listen to it by tomorrow. Listen to episode 3 about having it was really, really good. And we really went deep in talking about some things. So yes, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all for always jumping in here at 9:00 p.m. Central Standard Time on
Yes.
Monday night. So y'all know next Monday we won't be here because we'll have a new episode dropping next week. So you all keep supporting us. We love y'all so much. All right, episode 3. Yes, Jen. Episode 3.
What can we let them know what episode 3 is going to be about?
Episode 3 is having heart.
Episode 4. Episode 4.
I don't know yet. We're gonna have to
Okay.
decide what we dropping because we got so much stuff.
Whatever it is, it's gonna be good, y'all.
And y'all
already know
make
it's gonna
sure
be good.
when y'all listen to the podcast, have you like something you can write your questions, something you may want to bring back to us. That helps us when we continue the conversation on Monday. If it's something we address then and you were like, oh, that's good, I want to hear more on that. We want to hear from you. We want to interact with you and hear more conversation from what you heard. So going to hear it is important. So we can talk more about that.
Pam said
Teresa,
that
how do I
episode
like
was fire. Pam said it was fire. It was really, really good. I say, Teresa, like this page first of all, and share out this page. And you can also, I don't know if it's up on Apple yet, but the podcast, you can literally just type in the Her Lounge podcast. Apple takes longer than anybody. So it's on iHeart, it's on Google, and it's on Spotify. You go to any of those 3 platforms and just type in the Her. You ain't got to do nothing but put the Her. It is going to pop right up. So that means that people are listening if it pops up like that. So we need you guys to keep listening. Go and make sure that you're listening. I mean, my thing is, Spotify. It's on Spotify, Jen. This is what I do when I go back and listen to episodes. I plug it up in my car and I listen while I'm driving to the episode.
And it's be funny because I be laughing like
I'm laughing like it ain't no.
Yep.
Yeah. So y'all, we need your support. Please keep supporting us. Keep sharing. Keep liking. Keep listening. Okay. We really are your 4 best new girlfriends. I can't think of her name. I think it's Angela from Virginia.
Oh.
She said, I'm your friend from Virginia.
Is that the one who works in the prison?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I think
Yes.
so.
I'm trying to find it because she was like, I'm your sister from Virginia. I'm your girlfriend from Virginia. Her name is Angela.
Angela Taylor, I think.
Yes, Angela Taylor. Angela, thank you for sharing it out. You know, Angela shares our stuff out with the inmates that she ministers to, which is so powerful.
Yes, it is.
And so that's awesome. So thank you guys. We love y'all. Have an amazing night. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Y'all have a great week. Make it intentional.